Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us here with the Global Share Fair group with another WooHoo weekend. Today, a small group of demonstrators will be sharing with you a few stamp set bundles and sweets. At the time of my nominated presentation time today, my husband and I will be collecting my niece from the same destination that we broadcast from back in June. Celebration has previously been held in the first few months of the year. However, this year, the timings have changed and we're pleased to bring you another 2 months for the whole of August and September. Any minimum spend in the UK is £45 to choose one of the items from the celebration brochure. I'll switch you down to the table. So today I'm bringing you the Penguin Place stamp set and the Penguin Punch duo, together with one of the designer series papers featured in the celebration brochure. So bringing all 6 of these designer series papers with the beautiful critters, and on the reverse, the neutral patterns to coordinate with them. So for my project today, you will need to start with a half sheet of cardstock in your standard size for your market. The sizes will be cut lengthways at 10.5 centimetres or 4.25 inches and creased at the 14.85 centimetres or 5.5 inches to make our base card. Next we will be adding a piece of the beautiful designer series papers, and I've got one of the critters on this side. Sadly, I'm going to be using the snowflakes for today, and this measures 14.3 centimetres by 10 centimetres or 5.25 inches by 4 inches. This will be attached all around the outside of the card. And placing that evenly in the centre. Today I will be making this card into a Z-fold flip-flap card, and I'm going to be using the 2 largest dies from my stitched nested dies. My largest die will be placed in the centre of my card here, and we will cut through both layers. I'm using a piece of removable Scotch tape just to adhere that down in place. Making sure that the die is straight, and I'm happy that it's central. This has now been run through the die cutting machine, and you'll see the image on the inside. Whilst these dies are very beautiful and have stitching with these tiny dots on both the inside and the outside, they do like to cling to the dots, so do remove those carefully. Now we're going to take this piece out and we're going to turn it over completely. So this will open our card, and this will be the image on the inside of our card. For the mechanism inside my card, I've cut one long strip of basic white cardstock, measuring 6 centimetres wide or 2 3/8 of an inch wide. I've scored along here at 10 centimetres and again at 20 centimetres or 4 inches and 8 inches. By zigzagging those 2 pieces along the score lines and burnishing those with a bone folder, I will end up with a zigzag. Now if I bring my card back, this will be the piece that stays on the inside. If you like, you can just apply a couple of pieces of Scotch tape again to the top and the bottom, just catching the edges and to make sure that they're going to stay in place while you work on the inside mechanism. So the mechanism is going to be the larger piece at the back with the zigzag coming forward, but they must stay within the tram lines on the left hand side here. So the easiest way I can describe this is I can see the stitching at the top and the bottom here. I need to make sure that this fold line is on the crease here down the center. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to apply my adhesive on the inside here, going all the way around the outside edge without moving. I can see the lines are parallel, and I'm then going to shut my card on that crease, like so. Now when I open this, this will be adhered in the inside, and this will still be lined up on the centre. Using Tombow, you have a little bit of that movability if it's not quite along those lines here where you'd like it to be. So I like to press on here with the bone folder and make sure that is well adhered. So now we will apply the adhesive to the small flap left here. And we can shut that card in the same way. So we'll hold that flap in and press that down on the inside. Again, making sure that that adheres, and we can close that card and make sure that everything is nicely aligned. Now, we need to remove the tape in order for the mechanism to work. So just remove those two pieces that are preventing that from moving. And then this piece will swing on the inside. This will be the shape of my Z-fold flip-flap card. So once decorated, this will be on the front, and when you open up the card, it will sit as a zigzag. For the inside of our card, I've cut 2 further pieces of rich raspberry card at 9.5 centimetres by 5.5 centimetres, or 3 7/8 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and these will be attached on the inside here. For the inside of my card, I now have 2 pieces of basic white card measuring 9 centimetres by 5 centimetres, or 3 3/4 inches by 2 1/8 inches. These will be attached on the inside of my card here, but we will decorate those panels first. On the front of my card, I will be adding the smaller shape of the stitched nested labels that I've cut already. So take my card out of the way for now whilst we decorate these panels. To decorate the 2 inside panels, I'm going to be using the snowflakes from here and the sentiment, be cool, be chill, be merry. So I'll take those out. If I lay this one, let that relax onto the Stampin' Pierce mat here so it finds its natural shape. The photopolymer stamps can easily be stretched or manipulated, so if you need a greeting in a straight line, I always place them on there rather than putting them on the block that might have a slight kink in there. I'm just going to pick that stamp set up. I'm using Rich Raspberry here, which is the colour of our base card, and I do like to have a piece of scrap paper underneath. So I will just ink this up once and just check that I'm happy. That's lovely. So I will place this on here and place my sentiment in the centre of the card. Like so. That's finished with the Rich Raspberry ink. Next I'm going to take my snowflakes from the stamp set and pick those up on an acrylic block. This is our Fresh Freesia, which is one of the In Colour range. Beautiful colour. And again, I'll place a piece of scrap card underneath here. I will just ink those up gently first and make sure that I'm happy. They're a lovely light colour of the same colour hues. So I'm just going to stamp these round the outside of my card. So continuing around the outside edge here. I adjust the shape of my, the angle of my stamps as I go. So I want to leave just around the outside edges of these. So that is the right hand panel. And then for my left hand panel, these two panels will now be stuck on the inside. For the front of my card, I have the smaller stitch nested label here that I'm going to decorate. I have pre-punched two of the penguins from the designer series paper. But now I'm going to take a piece of scrap card and I'm going to tear a couple of snowbanks and bring this up to the camera. I'm going to tear a piece of card towards me so that I leave the feathery edge at the back here. And this can have some hills. Shape it just as you wish. Coming across there. So that could be one of the banks. Okay. Because of the height of my card, I think that will be high enough for my penguins to sit. So I'm going to attach this onto the card. First of all, I'm going to trim the edges. So if I turn that over, okay, and they will be attached round the edge. So we'll turn this over. I will place adhesive around the edge, just round along the sides and along the bottom, tiny little bead. And then I'll take a couple of small Stampin' Dimensionals and pop these on the height of the banks here and peel the back off. And I think I might put one over here and tear the back off. You can bet it doesn't matter where you go. You find a friend who does just what they love and lets it show. One card at a time can really change the way we live. Focused on the bring that back. Okay, now if I bring that up to the camera, you'll be able to see there's a slight little bank behind there where we can tuck in the images. So once again, I would like some of the snowflakes in the sky, so we'll use this fresh freesia that we used earlier. Now my images, I could start to place these. I would like to have one higher than the other, so he could be playing behind the snowbank, and this one could be along the bottom here. But before I adhere those down, I'm going to take some of the trees and place those trees where they would be sitting behind the penguins. So for this one, I'll take my Just Jade ink pad. And again, I'll test this on a piece of scrap first. I will ink this up once, but I will stamp one tree first generation and then a second one behind it. So I'll get that double effect. So ink this up here, just in the corner. And then a second. And I think I might move him out of the way. It doesn't matter if these are slightly behind there. So I think I'll put another one on this corner. And a second one in the background. And maybe a second generation in the centre here. And a lighter one behind it. So there's 3 shades there now. So I'll close up the Just Jade ink pad. And then it's all about placing my penguins. Bring that one back. So I like to have dimension in my cards. So I do like to have one poking out from the back of those snowbanks. So I'll take my dimensionals. I might use the full size on this one. So I'll place one on the top and one on the bottom. So he can be tucked down behind, like so, making sure he's nice and straight. Small piece of trees just hiding from the background there. Then this one can be flat at the front and just a dimensional behind his head. The reason being, we have already raised this piece, so some Tombow can go on the bottom there. And so he will be flat on there. And then that will just bring him up to the same level that the snowbanks are. Okay, so I think he's ready to be applied to the front of my card. So that will go on there. I do want to add some Wink of Stella. However, before I do that, I'm going to make sure everything is attached down. When you receive your Wink of Stella brush, you will find there's a little black collar around the centre here. I'm going to bring on a piece of scrap paper. Because this is the first time this one has been used, I'm going to remove that collar. That will pierce the inside of the barrel there, releasing all the pigment ink. So I'm going to prime this by squeezing on where it says push on the front and the back. Shake it up to mix it up nicely. And squeeze gently until you start to see some of the liquid coming down the barrel. Okay, the first time you use it, it will take a while just to work through. The effects it produces are gorgeous, and I can see that now coming down the nib. Oh, there we go, got a bubble. So it's brought a little bit more than I wanted on there. However, I move that out of the way. I'm just going to paint the edge here to give it a little bit of twinkle. It's kind of a silvery effect. Okay. And I like to put a little silvery, just like a path, like a little scribble, just coming along here to give it some more depth. So it looks like it's a path. Once that dries, it will just be a silvery image. And some twinkle as well on the stars up here. Okay, like I said, that puddle is because that's the first time this one's been used. You don't need to squeeze it very much at all. So once you've primed it and it's got the pigment ink in here, you can just keep using it until it gets dry again, and then you'll give it a little squeeze. Please do not squeeze it over your project. Always make sure, like I did, you squeeze it onto a piece of scrap paper. Now, if you'd like to have a glittery image on here, I'm going to fold this piece of paper in half so that it's clean on the back of my card. And I'm going to use my Wink of Stella to flick all over the design. So that will go on the snowflakes on the front cover as well. And I'm just going to squeeze this slightly again. Coming down into the barrel, and I'm going to flick this until I can see some little speckles coming out. And I'm just knocking it against the lid of the Wink of Stella. It'll be hard to see on the camera. And then I'll put the lid on to protect it and pop that standing upright in my pot. Now I won't smudge this, but if I lift it up to the camera, you'll see some little dots here, how that actually adds sparkle to your card. Okay, hopefully you can pick up down the bottom here, and there'll be some little speckles all over the background as well. Okay, so there is my finished card. And then when we erect that card, this comes up and slides through the double track. There is my Z fold flip flap card. Okay, so when the recipient opens it, it's like so, and it will just swing and can stand on a mantelpiece open like so. Okay, it's hard to show on camera. Okay, but there is our finished card. Once again, thanks for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed my card today, and enjoy the rest of your time here today with the WooHoo group from Global Share Fair. You will hear from many of the demonstrators today that we are in celebration, and the beautiful designer series papers and many other items are available for free with a minimum purchase in your market. My second video using the Penguin Place bundle will follow shortly, and I would love you to click the like and subscribe button to be notified of future videos as I release them. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye for now.